there. We'll try to record.
We're recording.
Excellent. Thank you, Tara. Then we'll do the planned. We had planned anyway, because it's our 15th year, to go through a branding update. We were able to accomplish that, and we could not have done that without the work and leadership of Jennifer and Tara and the group on the call here today. Brett and Tara have done enormous work of our mission statement. Again, at the 15-year mark, this is a different foundation that existed 10 years ago. And the updated mission and the updated brand reflect the good work and how far we've come. Susan is not able to attend tonight. So Ted, and for those that are new, Susan is our bookkeeper, and she's not able to attend. So I'll review the financials, and then we'll go through the budget, answer any questions. It still is potentially a draft. If we've made a mistake, or if there's something that we catch as we review it, let us know. If not, then we'll approve that budget. And then finally, I moved the last item, Ted, to the first. So we're done already with the last item. Ted is going to be our new board. So this is just an exciting board as we roll into 2021. So with that, Tara, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, great. So this is kind of a recap of the slide that we went through in our last meeting. And basically what we did is we took it and created a few updates. So I just want to go through this really quickly. And I want to spend most of the time on the two slides that follow this, which is what's happening in 2021 and what do we need and what resources. So first of all, I know that you're all aware of the COVID-19 relief that we did on many levels to the core causes during COVID. And we really, I think, it really kind of came home and was driven home, for me at least, watching all of the videos from the gala. So over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, we'll be reposting all of those on social media. We're in the process of loading them up into YouTube. So just keep an eye on those if you missed certain piece parts. I know, it was kind of long and some people may have missed certain videos, but please go back and watch them because they're really amazing and inspiring. So that is, of all the things on this slide, that's really what we're all about. And that's what I'm most proud of. Other highlights, though, obviously we continued on with our three primary races: the Rest and Sprint Triathlon, the Be Amazing Rest and Youth Triathlon, and then the Superhero Splash and Dash, which was our outreach program to the local homeless shelters. And we'll be continuing all of those this year. The Be Amazing Rest and Youth Triathlon may take a different form, and we'll know that shortly, depending on what the group decides to do. But the others will definitely continue on. Mary and I spent some time this year refining the core cause program and the operations guide. And some of that was lessons learned. As we've learned a lesson or something's come up, a question with one of the new core causes, we've refined the manual. So just know that we're continuing to improve our processes so that when we have 5 core causes that come to us at once, we can onboard them and get them in really quickly. From those lessons learned, and because of the cookie cutter operations guide that we now have in place, which we feel really good about. The new branding, Jen's going to touch on that in just a second, so we'll let her talk about that, but super proud of that. I'm very proud of the work Mary especially did on the Rest and Sprint website. So she basically ripped the entire site down with some help from a few other new team members. One of them is a gentleman named Dennis. He's one of our athletes. Did an amazing job with that, as well as George, who's worked on the website for many years. And I wanted to give her kudos, so I put that one in there for her because I just think she did a phenomenal job. We've got a really nice base now to work with to rebuild some additional pages into the Rest and Sprint Triathlon website, which should help the program moving forward. And all of the new branding is incorporated in there. On the last meeting that we had, we were kind of trying to pull the gala together. And as Doug said, we were very pleased with the results. The content that was put together and came out of that was, I couldn't have even imagined that we would have come up with what we did the last time that we all met. So we were really, really proud of that. And we ended up, from a monetary perspective, as you may see in the budget, we actually ended up coming out about $1,000 ahead over last year, and we reached more people. So all in all, it's a home run, really. It was truly a home run. And at a time when I heard from many other partners in the community that everyone else had kind of given up on their galas, we found a way to get it done. And
Tara, I'll just tell you that I was out in a safe distance outside with some resting folks with my mask on, and behind the scenes, you and I know, and Mary I mean, it was like the Wizard of Oz. I mean, there was a lot of, but again, there was more reinforcement that from their perspective, they were just really motivated, and they were very honest that they thought it was fantastic. So just a tremendous job. And I also heard from some other community leaders of nonprofits, they're not as happy because you've set the bar so high now that they're a little bit jealous that you've got the gala out of the way during COVID as they're preparing theirs. But they said in a very friendly fashion, they learned a lot from your ability and the team's ability to actually deliver. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. And what I feel the best about is that it was organic. Our speakers were thoughtful. It wasn't professionally done, but I feel like we produced a professional result. We're, a team of 2 paid staffers, and we recruited a volunteer to pull together those videos. Brett was tremendous in helping us gather the videos, and Mark Moody. And then we had one person take those videos and splice them into a storyline, and she was amazing. So
great. Thanks, Brett.
The right people came into the picture on that one, so it was
Absolutely
really strong.
And for board members that may not have been able to be there, it's a real big help when Tara or Mary or Brett or anybody that's on our team, anytime they post something, especially these community hero awards, if you wouldn't mind just quickly liking or sharing, and just bring some visibility to it. Each one of us on the board has our own group, of contact. So as a team, the more we can bring awareness to what who these heroes are and the work that they're doing, will help the foundation. So I'd ask you to do that when you see those come across your feed. And if you're not already following, if you don't do social media, I get it. That's fine, right? I mean, we're not going to force anyone to do social media. But if you're already following, if you're not following the foundation on Twitter or Facebook, I'd ask you maybe to do a quick action item and just go ahead and follow that. That way, it'll just pop up in your feed, and you can go from there.
Okay. So really quickly, back to highlights for 2020. So Core Cause program grew to 20. And what I'll say about that is I'd say the last 7 or 8 core causes that we brought in are super high quality. So we're not only increasing in number, we're increasing in quality.
Is someone at the beach? With those seagulls?
Someone's got to be at the beach.
I heard seagulls. I wasn't going to ask.
Is that you, Gina?
I heard seagulls.
You at the beach?
No, I'm in my boring Fairfax home, so it's not me.
Ted, are you at the beach?
No, I wish I was, but I wouldn't be sitting on the beach where the seagulls are. I can assure you that.
Cheryl,
That's
that leaves
funny.
only you.
Jennifer definitely wants to know where they are because she's going to come join you.
I know.
Cheryl, are you at the beach?
And we are in a snowstorm in Philly, so no beach here.
Oh, sorry.
I may be in Florida, but it's not me either.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think it's Doug.
All right. Moving right along. So if you're not aware, we have had some core causes get some national coverage. Colby was on Ellen and Lester Holt. Colby's one of our new core causes. We then recruited him to be part of core the week after, which was great. Nate, who is our new core cause from Iowa, was on the Good Morning America digital feed last week, which was a really big win. And Mary and Doug and I, we all know that it's a very short window of time before these national networks start to really connect the dots. The Core Foundation is the connector for all of these groups. So what we've been trying to do, especially the last week, and Mary and I are going to spend some time next week, is continuing to make updates to the website and really get everything polished and ready to go so that when we have that opportunity to be in the spotlight, we're ready. So just know that that's happening in the background. What is
so
that? Pigs.
random. I'm on Zoom calls back to back all day. I have no idea where this is coming from.
All right.
And Ellen, the Ellen show too, right, Tara?
Say again. I'm sorry.
Ellen DeGeneres show too, right?
I said that. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
just said Ellen. I figured everyone would know.
So Tara, my suggestion would be that any live TV opportunity that we have going forward, we should probably look at the transcript that will be used and edit it for grammatically correct conversation before it goes live.
So that has been happening, Jennifer, but as you know, it's not that simple to get the transcript.
I do know.
But I will say, like Nate, I prepped him backwards and forwards, and Core Foundation didn't make it in the first cut of the Good Morning America interview, and I prepped him 3 times, and I know that he talked about Core because we talked about it right after the interview. I think some of these reporters selectively pick and choose what they put into the articles. So, in our Core,
and they're probably going to edit down what they want, which is grammatically correct, which is great.
They are.
That's good.
But what we can do is make an ask and a try. So what we're going to do in our Core Cause Leader meeting next week, so the Core Cause Leader meeting always follows the board meeting, is Mary and I are putting together a press packet. It's here's how you talk to the press, here's our expectations, and some kind of questions and answers, and then a worksheet for them, like, if you get a call tomorrow from the press, I know what my mission statement is. I know, my top highlights,
That's a great
my
idea.
little fuzzy story. So we're working on that. Again, this is where we're learning too, and
That's a great idea.
We're continuing to refine the operations manual as part of that. So this press package is part of that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
That sounds perfect. I'm glad to hear that. That's good.
Yeah, and
Do we
I'd love
have
to have your eyes on
do we
that
have a
too. You're really good at that as well, and anyone else that would like to see and be part of that.
So I'm happy to be a back reader.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Well, I'm going to quickly go through this so we stay under our hour tonight. I've already talked about the masquerade. We launched the Founder Circle in December, and the reason for that is we're looking for consistent revenue streams, as you'll see in a couple of minutes. And by doing that, we did pick up some new donors and that are willing to give every single month. So we've now got this nice recurring revenue stream coming in. And something to build upon and a program to build upon. And Mary and I are working on a donation landing page that reflects that new content, and that should be up probably next week. We just need to make a couple more tweaks to it.
And I'll just echo, just like when we ask you to like or share some of when we do shout outs for the community heroes, oftentimes, and we do try not to very frequently send things out on social media saying, hey, here's an opportunity to give to the foundation. We certainly will do that. But my ask is also that when we do that, again, if you could like or share it, and just put your own why you feel strongly about serving on our board, so that it brings awareness to folks, because you can only imagine given the circumstances that we're in, where there's not a lot of money that comes to the foundation itself, because one, we give most of it away, and our core causes only contribute 10% of their total revenue, and most of these core causes are not bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so when we do go with the monthly giving or any of these, it's very critical to the foundation's success. So I'd invite you to again kind of like and share it out with kind of what the Core Foundation means to you.
Great. And then the last thing on the last bullet here, just real quickly, is, COVID created some really unique opportunities for me to network in the community. And one of these is I was asked to be on a task force with the Reston Chamber of Commerce. Actually, I was asked to be on 2. So I'm really excited to work with them and get to know some more people in the chamber and create some new relationships here in 2021.
That's terrific.
Ideally, these events would be in person, and I could network in person and take some of you all, but that's probably forthcoming.
That's terrific, Tara.
Okay, great. All right, so forward looking to 2021, and we'll go through these pretty quickly. So we're going to have a series of 3 events that are specific to Core. We'll have the Reston Sprint Triathlon, and this year we will have both live and virtual options. And we also will be launching the Splash and Dash virtual when we launch the adult race. And that should give us an opportunity to include some youth that we may not, we might not pick up those registrations if we launch later in the year. Secondly, we're going to be introducing a golf tournament, and I'm really excited about this. If any of you are interested in helping out with the golf tournament, Mark Moody will be leading that, and he's definitely looking for some key people to really contribute and really get some ideas generated, because this will be our first year with that event. So we want to have a really successful year one. It's also a huge opportunity for us. If you look down to bullet number 4, which is fundraising, it's a huge opportunity for us to attract partners, to court partners, and just to really have access to a different type of sponsor or partner that maybe we wouldn't have without this event. So it's really going to serve a lot of different purposes there.
And so just a quick, if I could just call out that for Ted, for folks that are new, many of our events like the Sprint, they benefit other charities. I mean, that's our mission, right? Is to help the charities around you. So the events like the golf tournament or like the Splash and Dash or the SUP, which again isn't on there right now, those are key for us because those are fundraisers for us, right? These are the ones that again, so any help that you can provide in spreading the word or getting those, obviously we count on those to do well to be able to support all these other core causes.
Tara, do we have a approximate time frame for the golf tournament weekend?
I'll have a better idea tomorrow. We've got a call tomorrow, and it's either going to be in the summer or October. Summer will be hot, but I kind of feel like July would be better because October knocks us too close to the Giving Gala.
Okay.
And I'm just concerned about participate. I feel like we might get better participation if the events are spread out. So I'm curious to get your opinion on that. I'm not married to either time. I can see it.
Are you married to the location?
Right now we're looking at an International Country Club.
Okay.
And part of
I have some ideas.
Okay.
I think aside from, I'm thinking like John's going to help out. I do think it's two different audiences a little bit, and I wouldn't worry too much about the Giving Gala and the tournament being close together. If you think that's where it ends up, I don't think there's going to be folks that would have done the tournament. They're only going to do one. I think that it's two different audiences, and part of me could even see doing the tournament during the day and then partying at the gala at night.
It seems like most of the clubs have the tournaments on Mondays.
Yeah. But I'll defer to Mark and JB. But that's what I'm saying is I don't see it as being, at least the crew that would be our core village. I see it attracting two different folks, and I'd say that they'll probably go to both.
Oh, a golf tournament's going to be on a Monday. Period. There's probably no way around that. It's cost effective for the actual golf course. Yeah. It's cost effective for us. Historically. Period.
So I can tell you that Mark has looked at 4 courses in the area. Okay. So if anyone has any other ideas, please, we've been working on this for a couple months, so please throw them out tonight.
Is John connected with them? I know that you had worked hard to get him some support as JB.
He's on our call tomorrow, so we'll have a better idea tomorrow, I think, once we can collaborate a little bit. And anyone's welcome to be on that call. It's at 11 o'clock. So if anybody would like to join, just let me know. And I'm happy to send you the Zoom bridge and pull you in on that.
Thank you.
But again, I think it's going to be a really great event. Okay, so kind of wrapping up here. So the kind of like our core outreach, our Core Cares outreach, one of the things we're going to introduce in 2021 is a weekend of service. And basically what that is, it's a weekend that we set aside and we encourage our core causes to come up with a volunteer project or a specific project that represents their core cause that they are moving forward with that one weekend where we're all doing a service project. And I think we're going to get some really good enthusiasm around it. Brett has agreed to pull that together.
Thank you, Brett.
Thank you, Brett. So we'll get to that again in the next slide. And then just lastly, really quickly with fundraising, we, as Doug mentioned, we have to continue to find ways to bring in new revenue streams for Core Foundation so we can cover the operating budget. And there are kind of 4 ways to do that. One is grant development, promoting the continuing triathlon fundraising, the Racing with Purpose program, expanding the monthly giving circle. And then the real ace in the hole for us is to continue to build these core partnerships. There's so many groups in the community that we can partner with and businesses. And I'm really excited to continue to pursue those.
Thanks,
so that's
Ted.
as well. We can use your connections and your skill sets and your introductions.
Great. And Ted's got a note for you in the chat. Thanks, Ted. And Brett,
Okay.
on that weekend of service, you may want to reach out to Phil Vera. He's a board member. They have since inception done a kind of a weekend of service for their particular cause. So he may have some ideas or suggestions on how he communicated and set all of that up.
And he's not on the call, right? He actually gave me the idea. I should
Oh,
have
good,
mentioned.
good. Yeah. So and I'm sure he'd be willing to work with you, Brett, to kind of expand that and on how that worked.
Okay, next slide. All right, so if you take a look at how it breaks down into dates, we just wanted to provide this. We're looking at the weekend of May 21st, 22nd as the weekend of service. June 6th is the Plan A date for the Rest and Sprint Triathlon. The virtual will start also that weekend and continue through August 15th, as will the Superhero Slash and Dash, which is the youth event. And then our Plan B date for the Rest and Sprint is August 15th. I put the golf tournament in there in the middle for now. And then the Core Giving Gala, October, November. We traditionally have it the first or second week in November, but it may make sense to move it up depending on COVID, social distancing, being able to use outside spaces and those kinds of things. So for right now, at this given moment, I left that kind of fluid, but we should be able to figure that out in the next month or so and nail down a date.
And as board members, if there's ever an event, so like the Sprint Triathlon will probably be sold out, especially if because we cut it in half. But as a board member, that just cracks me up. I have no idea where that's come from. As board members, if you have slots, right? So if you've got a friend or a colleague, or if you've got someone that wants to get into an event that's full, just let Mary know and let them know that when they register, even though it's full, that there will be a selection they can make if they would like to donate extra. So just look at your audience. In other words, if this is someone who has the means that could do that, I kind of say, hey, absolutely, we'll get you in. But if it's someone, and on the flip side of that, there's someone that needs a scholarship or for needs, if you find someone in need that would like to participate in one of our events and you feel that the cost of the event, such as the gala or the sprint, has deterred them, as a board member, I want you to feel empowered to, to tell them that you'll take care of them and work with Mary on that, and she'll hook you up with a coupon code and all the good things there.
Tara, I can help you on the golf tournament as well. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So just let me know.
Thanks, Gina.
Okay.
You and Ted the information. That's great. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes. Just in closing, I think that what do we need right now to really pull all of this together? I mean, I'll be honest, Mary and I are stretched really thin right now. There are two of us and we are covering a lot of ground and we're working a lot of hours. So what we need is, I really, really could use someone to pick up the Giving Gala. I can mentor them. I can do some of the work, but I can't keep doing the heavy lifting and run the foundation at the same time. As this event is growing, it's a job for a couple of people. So if you know of someone that has those skill sets and would be interested in that kind of an opportunity from a skills-based volunteer job, please let me know.
And Tara, I would say the same. If you identify someone you'd like us to reach out to kind of not twist an arm, but if if there's someone that you've identified that, that let us know, and I'd be happy to reach out to some folks. I think we could definitely get at least a group of folks that could pick that up for you.
Okay. I mean, we've got some great committee members. We had a couple step in this year that were wonderful, and I'm hoping they'll stay on their jobs at least. We've done this a couple of years. We've got people in certain jobs that are good at that, and so we just need somebody to pull the pieces together.
Okay.
And then social media.
Sorry, Tara, is there a description or something that you could share with us just so that we could maybe share that out with people that could be interested?
Sure, I can write one. That's a great idea. Yeah.
Great.
I think project management and client interface is going to be a strong piece of that position description.
And P&L.
Like time commitment and that kind of thing would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a go-getter that is not shy. I think it's kind of a little bit like you. You could write your position description and go for that. That'd be a good way to fill that.
Okay, I'll take that as an action for sure. And then social media help. We definitely could use some social media help as well. Some individuals that could create Canva, tiles, load social media, even just loading like all of the YouTube videos from the gala. Those still, we've started,
And,
Mary
you know,
started those.
We should look at an internship for young people there, because that is par for the course for a young person. And we could make it into an internship for young people. It would fulfill our needs and give them an internship in the process. So that's something we should look at.
So we are currently registered with Marymount University and with George Mason for an internship, but no one's picked it up yet.
So bizarre. I'm saying that because this is my job. Like, I am on these calls all the time, and I have got no clue. I've never experienced anything like this.
Someone's
Tara,
making hot cocoa.
now, when you talk about the technical of uploading, would you be comfortable with seniors in high school supporting
That's
this?
what I was
or is that
thinking,
too
like
young?
service hours, that's,
No,
Yeah.
no,
that's great.
No, because
Oh.
the judgment's not there. The
Okay.
judgment's not there in high school. So I actually am going to say no. That's my opinion. I think you're looking at college students, sophomore and beyond, that really have a vested interest in success and making their mark. And at that age, they have a little better judgment as to what is acceptable and not acceptable. So I'm going to say sophomore and college and beyond.
Okay.
You can override me, but that's my opinion.
We need like an Allison McHugh, essentially.
Yeah.
Someone who can be self-guided, self-motivated, and you can say, I need you to load these up into YouTube, or I need you to create these canvas. Here's the color palette. Here's the design elements.
Okay.
Come up with some things for me to look at, and I'll give you some guidance. And then now we've got thunder.
I just think there needs to be a more developed judgment involved
Okay.
in
Fair enough.
what we're doing.
Fair enough.
Is it my turn?
Is that it, Tara? Is there anything else you want to say? We lost you. You're on mute. We lost you. You're on mute.
Tara's never silent, but she is.
Sorry, I said I have the giggles over this thunderstorm, but yes,
I know
heard
it's. I'm fascinated to see if it shows up on the recording. So yes, thank you so much, Tara. And again, big clap and shout out for all of the work. I see all the emails going back and forth, and you and Mary have just done a tremendous job to make this stuff happen. And if I'm confident we will, but if we can accomplish what you just saw on that list here, that will be an amazing effort. So Brand, Jen, you want to talk a little bit about the work that you do on
Absolutely.
Brand?
So kudos to Doug for keeping me at bay for years and years, because when I was lucky enough to get involved in this organization, my first thought was, you need branding. You need guidelines, you need structure around your look and your feel, your iconography, everything you present to the public. And, I think the organization was not at a place where we were ready for that. And he patted me on the head and said, time will come, time will come. And I think we've reached that place. And last fall, we actually engaged a very talented designer that I've worked with for years and years personally, that is working on a brand guidelines booklet, if you will, for our organization, so that we go to market with a consistent look and feel. I want everything we do from a web perspective, from a written perspective, from it's the style of writing, it's the font, it's the font size, it's the color palette, it's everything we do has a consistent look and feel, so that when we go to market with a brand, and that is specific to the core foundation specifically. But then, because the Rest and Sprint Try is really kind of our child in this branding issue, the Rest and Sprint Try will actually have a coordinated look and feel and branding to the core foundation. So we have a very experienced designer that's working with us to come up with those brand guidelines. We've developed a look and feel, a color palette, a coordinating color palette between the core and the tribe, as well as font types and sizes and things of that nature. The one thing that I'm really incredibly proud of is we have kind of re-idealized the Core Foundation logo. And I think Doug's showing that here. This is not far from what you've seen. We have added the tagline, help others be the change for 15 years. This is available in multiple fonts and color palettes so that it will work with other things. Here we have it as a kind of a graphic so that you can see core in the middle and all of our kind of core causes. And this is, again, available in other colors. This is an example of the iconography that we created. And this iconography will relate to both our Core Foundation causes as well as the causes within, like, for example, the Reston Sprint Triathlon. And these color palettes are actually malleable. We have other color palettes and the greens and the blues, etc. These are meant to mesh with both the Reston Sprint Tri and the Core Foundation.
Excellent.
And this is still all in development. This is kind of a sort of a graphic that we intended to show what Core Foundation at its core does. The customers it serves, the community it serves, and what we are accomplishing. There's Greek text in here, of course. This is a work in progress.
Well, and I think, you know,
And go back for a second,
Yep.
Mary, if you could. So if you see we've got the heart there, I don't know if you guys catch that there's the 1-5 at the top for the 15 years. So we're trying to express both the 15 years, the core at its heart, and then all of the causes that we support. I'm really, really thoroughly happy with what our designer has done for us. And he's developed a whole palette of, you know, uses and guidelines so that when we go forward into market, we go to market with consistency, which I think is important.
excellent. And you know,
Go ahead, Doug.
No.
I was just going to say that we did have to table things probably mid-December because the masquerade had imminent needs and we had other things that needed to be done. So I will say that we have tabled this for probably 6 weeks. So we do need to move forward with it, but we had tabled it for a little period of time.
and while the 15th year was the inspiration for the directors, you know, one of the things we've always struggled with is when you go for grants and when you look for folks that are looking to invest in you, you know, when they go and they see a very elementary website or everything comes across as shoestring, it just doesn't necessarily give them the confidence of the image that would help us win some of the confidence and investment to allow us to do some of these things. So Jen, just tell Harry this is going to be very helpful, and hopefully Brett, you agree that this will be helpful as Brett's out there talking about national groups that it looks a little more polished.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Mary and Tara both for putting the time and energy into providing input to our designer in order to come up with this, because there's a lot of background that goes into the design in itself. And so Terry and Mary spent a lot of time doing that. And they took all my harsh feedback and they were wonderful about it. And so, and Harold for really kind of investing his passion into something like this. So I really am very, very proud of the work we've accomplished so far.
Great, thanks, Jen. Please pass along our thanks to Harry. All right, Mary, next slide.
Okay, I think this is me. So what we're going to show you guys in this next slide is the current mission statement that's on GuideStar. And then we're going to talk about the evolution of how we came up with this new proposed mission statement. So Tara and I and Mary have all been trying to build a grant program, and it's taking a little bit longer than maybe we ever initially thought, because there's so many things that need updating and we just need to work through some things. But the first thing that we noticed was that our mission statement was coming across a little bit consultant-ish, where people who would read that statement on GuideStar might not realize what we do. They might think of us as consultants. And so that was our first task, was to change that. And these maybe like 10 words here on the new proposed Core Foundation mission statement might not look like they're very thought through, but this is hours, and I mean, probably 20 hours of time. I think Tara and I spent maybe 5 hours on it, like just this past week alone, because we really needed to knock it out of the park and make sure that we're incorporating everything that Core does. So this is just the proposed statement that we have come up with. We want your feedback. We want you guys you can sleep on it, you can think about it and let us know. But this is what we came up with. We felt like it was an evolution. We probably had maybe 50 other mission statements between the GuideStar one and then the proposed one that we're sharing with you. So please, any feedback, if you want to have a discussion about it now, we can do that. What do you think, Tara?
Could you just flip to the next slide so they can see the tagline slide? Because these kind of go together.
Yep. So we wanted to make sure that our mission statement was very concrete and explain exactly what we do. And then we also have our vision statement and our tagline, helping others be the change they want to see in the world. Because be the change is so important for us to have in our vision statement, because that's Doug's heart right there, be the change. But we didn't feel like it could be as impactful in the mission statement because other people who aren't related to Core don't understand what that means.
Right. Any immediate reactions? Gina, Ted, Cheryl, Jen?
I mean, yeah, it looks good. I mean, right, the harder you have to make it concise, the mission statement, and that takes a lot of effort. So yeah, I think it's targeted in what Core Foundation does.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I really like the change.
Yeah, that was my immediate reaction too, was concise. I like how concise it is, and it speaks directly to what you're trying to get across. I really like it.
Nobody can pay attention for 2 sentences anymore. It's got to be
Right?
1 sentence.
Right.
And I can see, I hadn't thought about it, the idea of it sounding sort of consulting-ish, the original one, but once you said it, I was like, well, yeah, I can see the confusion there. So I really like it. It's a great job.
And there was some confusion with what is a social entrepreneur. I would get asked that a lot. What does that mean? Does that mean that I have to have money if I come to Core? Am I like an angel investor? And then I would spend 10 minutes trying to explain what a social entrepreneur, 2 words were in the mission statement. And then small organizations, oh, well, does that mean you'll go fundraise for my group? No, that's not what that means. So that's why too, we felt like charitable projects really spoke to the core cause model.
Oh.
Guys did a great
Ignites
job.
and supports is great. I really like that.
Yeah,
You did a great
we were in love with that word ignites. We knew that
That's
needed to be
great.
in there.
Yeah.
You guys did great.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I don't know if, does the board have to vote on making this the mission statement? Mary, I'm not sure if.
All
there
in
has to be-
favor of this being our mission statement, say aye.
Yes, aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Excellent. There you go, Brett.
Cool, done. Well, I'm glad that the hard work paid off, because like I said, we analyzed each and every word, and I feel like it really does explain what we do. So
We're grateful. We're absolutely grateful.
What a great win.
yay.
All right, so let's now talk about the financials. I want to preface this the way, did we lose the slide, Mary? Or is there not one? Maybe just you can open the P&L I sent, or the
Yes,
budget.
I'm gonna upload the financials.
Okay. I want to preface this by saying, hey, look, tomorrow is not, this is an uncertain time that we live in. And it was Herculean efforts that made 2020 possible for us to come out the net there of what was 5,000. There's more we probably would have done on a normal year that we cut back, right? Obviously, just to be good stewards of the resources that we have. We were the beneficiaries of about 10,000 in forgiveness from, or I guess about 8,000 in forgiveness from the first PPP program. So that was is not going to be happening every year, right? So that's 8,000 that came in. Fairfax County gave us 10,000 as a COVID relief grant. So there's definitely some revenue in there that's not going to happen each year. But I'm pleased, right, that we didn't run a deficit in 2020, which I was prepared to have happen, just because of COVID, and most of our stuff's live events. So I mean, when you look at our financial revenue stream, most of it is even the gala that usually happens in November. So again, Herculean efforts by the entire team, including the board members that we have here, to make 2020. That being said, it's not like 2020 is going to be an easy year. We've cut the triathlon in half just to be conservative. Most of our core causes, you heard about Amy's Amigos, that's an 11-year race. They're not sure, right? So they're not even on our agenda. Groups like Capital Steps that have been around for 40 years, right? Folding a couple weeks ago, folding. So 2021 it's not like the light is at the end of the tunnel right now, if that makes sense. So we've really got to be disciplined. We've really got to manage the budget. And we are going to be a little more conservative this year. As I said last year, when we gave 30,000 to Cornerstones, for example, it was January. We had no idea. I've let Cornerstones know. We're going to try to meet that commitment, but we're going to watch, we're going to wait a little bit to make sure that the event that funds that 30,000 actually is able to happen. So the difference between last year and this year is last year, the first half of the year, we didn't know what was going to happen. Now we're almost planning for this to continue at least, for let's say 3/4 of the year. Any questions on the any of the net income, any of the line items there? I mean, virtual events are more profitable. All right. We didn't have to pay a timing company, right? Tara did an incredible job figuring out swag. So there was that nuance to all of this too. But athletes paid up front when they didn't know about the pandemic. This year, right, we're not sold out yet, and we cut the race in half. So the athletes are being more conservative this year. So there's all these dynamics playing in some of the numbers there. But if anyone has any questions about any of the line items, please let me know. And Mary's on track working with the accounting firm, Ted. They probably will plan on filing the taxes into June timeframe. So obviously, if any questions arise between now and then, we've got time to fix it. Susan has closed the books, Mary, for 2020, or is she still sorting through that?
She and I need to have one more meeting.
Okay.
And
So
we'll do that mid-month.
Excellent. So they'll close the books, but even then, when the accounting firm looks at it, sometimes there's these transactions that they ask us to do. Interestingly enough, we're moving to accrual in 2021. So there could be some adjustments or some thoughts there on how we normally do things. So that'll be the next financial milestone, will be the taxes in June for 2021.
Okay.
And then the balance sheet there. Our balance sheet, as you can imagine, captures all of the cash of the core causes. Keep in mind that only 10%, as they raise the money, only 10% comes to us. So it's not really our cash that we see there, but it does talk about the health of some of the core causes. And as you can see, most of our core causes are not that big. So when we say 10%, we might be getting $200 or $300.
So Doug, to clarify, when we see this balance sheet, 10% of what shows up here is what we get.
No, the 10% is probably already out. So
Okay.
so there's an operating account there. You'll see it says the Core Foundation operating account. Actually, just says Core Foundation Access National, where there's about $20,000 in it. That's our revenue.
Okay.
All right. And
All right.
and actually, Mary, where's the Vanguard account? Is that under an investment account? We actually have 100,000 in cash. There's no investments because of all the uncertainty.
Right there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 100,000 in
Brokerage,
the brokerage account that really was the disaster relief fund that we kind of have as a safety net if everything, depending on how 2021 goes. Those are the only assets that are really ours. All those other little accounts or the ones that like the Reston of SIGEP, that's their cash and they've already given us their 10%. Mary bills them quarterly. So that could be very healthy and we could still be month to month, if that makes sense, these other accounts, because that's the core cause is cash. It is our cash, but I think everyone understands what I'm saying. It's earmarked for the nonprofits that core cause leader is supporting.
That makes sense.
All right. And then so for the budget, so we almost did a zero base to some degree. You know, we've been doing this for 15 years. You've got a good sense of the cost of things, as you can imagine. We did our best, and Mary led the effort here. We did our best to make assumptions for 2021 without any real certainty that it will be exactly like this. You know, we've got our staff is our largest expense that the foundation deploys. So Tara and Mary, we pay the bookkeeper's contract. Professional services would be legal, which is always pretty low, and the accounting firm. All of that in here with the new revenue streams of the golf tournaments and expectations for the gala. We didn't count on any government relief, so that would be, you know, a positive. If Mary's, we have applied for that second round, and initial conversations with the bank is that could be 13,000 given how they do the modeling, because they are being very, as they should be, disciplined on if you didn't lose money, they're not going to give you money, that's the way it should be. And of course, because of all of our efforts, we didn't lose too much year over year. So that limits probably what we could expect, around 13,000, but that would help. But we didn't embed that in here. And Mary, anything else that we should call out in the budget? The only other thing I'll add is that we are a very, the subscription will help us smooth out, because historically we've been very front loaded with our revenue streams, because we open registration in January and February. And so the 10% that comes in from the Reston Sprint, for example, is, you know, $15,000 that happens in January. Well, then we still have, the Sprint has all its expenses starting April, May, June. So oftentimes with the foundation, what you see is good first half of the year, but that doesn't necessarily, but we've got to save for a rainy day as we get through the back half of the year. And when Tara introduced the gala, that was huge, because that gave us a revenue stream that we historically hadn't had in the winter, well, because we're an event-based foundation. The golf tournament being towards the end, that stuff will help smooth things out. But as you can see, you know, we're looking at almost a break-even year in 2021, and we don't really know what's going to happen. So as you can imagine, we'll be looking at this very closely month to month and quarter to quarter to make sure that we stay on track for the year.
Doug, we did get approval from the bank that the 13,000 for the PPP number 2, it has been approved,
Oh, that's great news.
right? And
That's
then
great news.
last year's PPP 1 was already forgiven.
Okay.
And then there
Excellent.
was that $1,000 EIDL, little strange check that came in. That's in the process of being forgiven.
Excellent. So, you know, Mary's watching this stuff. You can only imagine the chaotic nature between the banks and everyone's trying their best, but we're talking about real dollars here. So the guidelines and descriptions. So Mary has done an enormously strong job of navigating all that. Mary, that can mean the difference. For those of you, you know, when they approve the PPP, that means we'll get the 13,000 in cash to help us out. Doesn't mean it's going to be forgiven. It's likely to be, but you never know. So just keep that in mind as we go through that. Any other questions on the budget? Any concerns? All right. We obviously, you know, the way we roll the budget here is that Tara and Mary have authority to work within the budget. It doesn't mean we couldn't, as a board, approve if it needs to go over or something like that. So if I could get a motion to approve the 2021 budget. Thank you, Brett.
Approve.
Okay, second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, excellent. If Mary, you could just capture that in the minutes. All right, I think we're at 8. Is there anything left? All right, so hey, I want to thank everybody. I do want to say this though, we are always on the lookout for strong talent that can help out. So for example, if someone knew someone that really wanted to run a gala every year and to help them to do that, that we would offer them a board position, I think we'd all agree we'd be happy to do that, right? So, and so if you find someone that, wants to give back, that wants to help in a leadership position, again, we're very selective. So please don't promise anything. As everybody on this phone, everyone on this call knows, we went through kind of some conversations, and you may not believe it, but we do our due diligence. We'd like to keep it at that level, right? Of leadership, willingness to give a lot of time, certainly willingness to give resources if that's available. But don't think that we wouldn't welcome that. So as you're talking with folks, just bring it to the board next time and say, hey, I've got this person. I think they'd make a great candidate, and we're happy to entertain that.
Doug, how do you want that to proceed? Do you want those requests to go to you? Do you want them to go through?
Actually, send them. Yeah, send them to me.
Okay.
Any board candidates, send them to me, and then I'd like us to talk about it as a board at the next. It's kind of a reminder that ongoing, we're looking for some support there.
Absolutely. Okay.
So we are a few minutes over. I can't tell you how grateful I am for each one of your flexibility and support. We know that this foundation is not the most structured and formal all the time, and your patience is noted and grateful. And so we've got our officers. So Gina is the coach, is the vice chair. Vice chair. Ted's the treasurer. Mary is our board secretary, which is a non-voting role. I'll continue to serve as chair, and there may be some emails, Ted, Gina, Mary, that we'll do some back and forth between now and then. But other than that, hopefully you've got the meeting on your calendar for April. I want everyone to stay safe. And if you, and Ted, I'm telling this for your reason, we're a very open board. If you need anything, you can go directly to Mary. No one has to come through me or anyone else. You as a board member can go to Mary, you can go to our accountant, you can go to our attorney. If you have any questions at all, that's how we work. So feel free to do that. All right.
And Ted, I look forward to talking to you sometime soon.
Yes, get better.
Oh, thanks.
Feel better.
Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate it. Mary, thanks for sticking with us. All right. Take care.
Thanks.
Good night.
Bye-bye.